Hello there, welcome to the Perfume Experience. Welcome back to another fragrance related review. So today I'm excited to talk about a very beast mode tobacco fragrance, a fragrance that's loved by a lot of people when it comes to tobacco as a note, right? And I'm talking about the most popular Mancera's Red Tobacco. Okay, so we're going to talk about Mancera's Red Tobacco, find out the scent profile, how it performs, and what are the good alternatives of it, and how you can get a good alternative of it at in budget, right? So all about it in this particular video. You're watching the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney. Let's get going right after this. So welcome back, and before we actually get into the mainstream of the video, let's just tell you that the Perfume Experience Hindi channel is where you will find the Hindi review of this particular video. I have uploaded, or rather I upload the Hindi reviews on that channel now, and on the main channel you will only get English, right? Having said that, let's get into the video. And like I said, we are going to talk about Mancera's Red Tobacco. Now this is a very beautiful red tobacco based fragrance that's very, very popular with people. Now it actually kind of comes in a box like this. It's a very basic paper box that it comes with. It's 120 ml that you get, and it also comes with a gold sleeve like this, like most of the Mancera fragrances. And this costs 17,000 rupees in India on MDP India website, right? So it's a pretty expensive fragrance, but it does smell very, very good. For me, this particular fragrance is a little like a Tom Ford's Voodoo. It's a very safe, oud fragrance to wear, like Tom Ford's Voodoo, like that. This is a very safe tobacco-based fragrance to wear. In fact, there is a lot going on this particular fragrance. Let's do a quick spray, okay? And you don't need to do a lot of it because, like I said, it's a beast mode kind of a fragrance. So let's do just one or two because I've already put on a couple of sprays. And what do you get? You immediately get a very sweet vanilla type of an opening, and that's got some amount of medicinal vibe, which is basically some type of a saffron note that's going across. And you get a lot of woody elements, you get a bit of tobacco sweetness, okay? And that's mixed with a lot of ambery elements somewhere in between, okay? But most prominently what you kind of get is a good amount of vanilla, okay? Now, and there is a lot of sweetness in spite of being a tobacco fragrance. That's what makes this very unique. This has got a lot of sweetness going on for it at the background, right? Now, in terms of notes, this is a fragrance that opens actually with oud. So it's got oud, it's got cinnamon, it's got some oriental spices like saffron and nutmeg that gives that oriental sweetness and spiciness as well. But it's also got some fruity elements like apple, I think, and a pear, which is there to give you that slight fruity element. And after a few minutes, it basically opens up to other elements where there is patchouli on this particular fragrance as well, and there is jasmine. Now, those floral hints that are there are subtle or absolutely nil. You don't really sniff anything of that. Now, whenever there is patchouli, you also know that there is going to be vetiver. Now, in the dry down, there is sandalwood, there is of course incense right at the top as well, then there is of course vanilla, and there is amber, there is musk, and also vetiver, right? So this is a whole composition of this particular fragrance, but at the top you have a lot of elements going on because of that smoky vibe that comes into this picture, the sweetness, the saffron spiciness, the slight hint of fruity tartness that's there. On the whole, this is fantastic. Now, the best part about it, the way this particular fragrance opens up with those oud, the cinnamon, the incense, and that slight patchouli that you kind of get hints of, is the way this particular continues to be on for about 4 or 5 hours, okay? At least about 4 hours is the same projection that you kind of get. You get the same smell for a long, long time. Now, that's something that makes this particular fragrance very, very unique. Now, after the 4 hours mark, when it starts to go into its, dry down, that's where more of that sweetness or that creamy sandalwood note comes into picture, and the amberiness is also there. And the vanilla, like I said, is there from the right at the top to the, dry down. You always get vanilla. You get up close, when you sniff really, really up close, you get subtle hints of vetiver, but I would say they are right at the background. But in spite of all of these notes, this is a dominant fragrance where there is cinnamon sweetness, there is saffron, there is a little bit of that oud, and of course there is a good amount of vanilla and a little bit of that tobacco, okay? Now, if you like tobacco fragrances, tobacco generally has a cutting across kind of a note. It cuts across a lot of things. It's a dense note. Though there is tobacco in this, you don't really kind of enjoy it like that kind of a tobacco fragrance as such, right? It's not one of those out and out manly dark fragrances. This is for me a very safe type of a sweet, good good vibe kind of a fragrance to wear, that you can wear comfortably on a date night. You can wear it on a party, you can wear it at a wedding, you can wear it anywhere. You can wear it to office too, but go lower on the number of sprays, because this could get very annoying to somebody else if you are wearing it with too many sprays. So typically it is considered as a beast mode fragrance, because like I said, that opening note that you get generally in fragrances which last about 40 minutes to 1 hour, 1.5 hours, here it can go up to hours together, okay, and then it kind of mellows down, okay. So but it's a very, very good fragrance. Now the question is that this comes at a cost of 17,000 rupees. Now for that price, do you really want to kind of get that, or are there alternatives that you can think about, right? Now there are alternatives that you can think about. One is this called Monarch, okay. Now this is called Red Tobacco Vanilla. Now this is pretty good, okay. Now this unfortunately is not available in India so easily. So if you are able to get it from, let's say, in the UK and all, you can kind of get it for very, very less. It's a nice fragrance. Now I have this that you can definitely try, which has got a similar type of an opening, and of course a very affordable option. Another one is from the house of Emir. This is called Wild and Tobacco. Okay, now this is part of their series that has got Super Crush, that has got a lot of the other fragrances as well, Cedrat Essence and all of that, right? So they have a lot of Mancera line copied on that line from Paris Corner. Now here the bottle looks good, very good bottle, and super heavy cap. I mean insanely heavy cap, and the bottle is of super high quality, very, very nice. Surprisingly, the sprayer is also good. Let me do a couple of sprays on the shirt. Very, very nice. Now what do you kind of smell in this versus Monarch? Now one thing is, for some reason the cap, it's something that is not the best. I think there is a slight difference. So between Monarch and between Emir Paris Wild and Tobacco, the primary difference is slightly in the opening. I feel in the opening, this is very close to how the OG smells. In fact, both of them are little that way, but one of the differences, this is a little more closer to how the Red Tobacco is, whereas this feels a little more vanilla. Okay, so that's one primary difference. Second is, after some time, when this continues to be on your skin with the same type of scent profile as Mancera Red Tobacco, Monarch becomes more vanilla. Okay, and this is a vanilla kind of thing which is more sweeter. Okay. But otherwise, one minus point in all of that is both the fragrances is they have a little bit more of that medicinal thing that I was talking about, which is basically the saffron coming with nutmeg, that causes that medicinal type of a vibe, which is, I feel, is a lot more in both of them, both the fragrances, when compared to Mancera's Red Tobacco. But other than that, it is a fab type of a fragrance. Now, one other element where this Monarch Red Tobacco loses, or rather is in the lasting. For me, this one did not last much on my skin, on my apparel either. I would hardly get about 3-4 hours. This, on the other end, surprisingly lasts pretty good. So though this is doesn't project, that's the big problem with both of these fragrances. They do not project like how the Mancera Red Tobacco does. So you will get about 30-40 minutes of projection. Okay, at least on this you will easily get about 30-40 minutes time. After that it becomes softer, but it is as a soft fragrance on your apparel. This will easily do about 6-7 hours easy. Okay, in fact it does actually more than that, but then it's too soft, but it remains on your clothes, doesn't get vanished like how this one does after about 4 or 5 hours. But both of them are extremely good flankers, and between the two I would definitely encourage you to pick up Emir's Wild and Tobacco as a very good alternative to Mancera's Red Tobacco. Prior to these two fragrances, I've always recommended Scentdelic's Voodoo Priest as one of the go-to Mancera's Red Tobacco alternative, which I really find very, very good. Now, the one thing that this one differentiates compared to that, those two, is that the opening of this is a lot more closer to the OG itself. Okay, so it's very, very close to Mancera's Red Tobacco in terms of the opening. That part of that sweetness that is there and that sharpness that this one brings is very much captured in Voodoo Priest. But aside to that, I would feel that the body of the fragrance is almost the same in almost all three. But in terms of lasting, I think this one lasts much more than this. Okay, so although this I would say is easily 6 to 7 hours time, but I feel the Emir Wild and Tobacco is lasting a lot more. One is that. Second is from a price point as well. I think this one is 50 ml for about 1200, 1400 or so. About 1800 you will get 100 ml here. That's another thing to look at, right? But otherwise, great alternatives of Mancera Red Tobacco to consider. Three good ones. One is, if you're able to kind of get Monarch, okay, the Red Tobacco Vanilla, you can consider that. Or if you're a house fan, Indian house fan, then of course Scentdelic's Red Tobacco or Voodoo Priest is an excellent option to consider. Or if you're looking at a Middle Eastern alternative, then of course Emir Wild and Tobacco is a fab option to consider. Considering the fact that you can get them at about 1700, 1800 rupees, this is a very good value for money, right? So that's what I thought about Mancera's Red Tobacco and what makes it a beast mode kind of a fragrance. It's very apt for winters, evenings, colder times. It does really good. It's not a summer fragrance. If you want to explore tobacco fragrance without really thinking, well, I like it, will people like around me and all of that, then don't worry about it. Go for it. It's a very safe type of tobacco fragrance to consider, right? Now this is really good. It is one of those fragrances that you should definitely have in your collection, as if you think about a collection of fragrances of each note, and if that is something, a video that you would want me to do, let me know. I'll be happy to do that, right? So yes, that's what I thought about Mancera's Red Tobacco and the alternatives. And my pick from an Indian house is easily Scentdelic's Voodoo Priest, and from a Middle Eastern house, please, you can consider getting Emir Wild and Tobacco. Okay, and I will add this onto the decants list in case you want to kind of try this. And Mancera Red Tobacco also, we should be able to give you about 3 slots if somebody is interested in it, right? And that's what I think about Mancera's Red Tobacco, and I'll see you on another video. Until the next time, take care, bye bye.